So I identified the limiting belief and found the root of that belief. The next step was reprogramming. Reprogramming is a fancy word for the process of introducing new beliefs about oneself to serve one's highest potential. There are so many options out there for this step, and it's about finding what works for you. These are just suggestions that I'll be giving you. And just a heads up, this kind of self-reflection work is hard and oftentimes uncomfortable. So it's important to be gentle with yourself. To change our lives, we have to get a little uncomfortable sometimes. And one way to work through our limiting beliefs is to journal about it. Ask yourself all the hard questions and be dead honest with yourself. And start with baby steps. Rewriting our internal dialogue doesn't happen overnight. And once you've gotten to the root, you can introduce new beliefs. For the sake of my example, I turned my belief from I can't write music to I have the potential to create so much good music. I give myself permission to create art in any way that calls to me. I am unique, and my unique voice was made to be heard. Whenever I heard that limiting belief pop up in my train of thought, my strategy was to consciously affirm the new belief through repetition. You see, for the most part, a lot of us do and think the same things day in and day out. So it might be helpful to think of this practice of reprogramming as if you were introducing a new habit into your life. For example, if you want to make it a habit to exercise on a regular basis, you have to push yourself to exercise even when you don't feel like it. And at a certain point, it becomes an ingrained habit, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. You just do it. The same thing can be said about our thought patterns. You have to consciously push yourself to shift your limiting beliefs and do it regularly so that you can shift your internal dialogue in a way that best serves you and your goals. After working through the beliefs that were preventing me from writing music, just like magic, almost exactly 1 year past someone asking me, why not? I released my first solo album and found myself as a singer-songwriter of a band. Once I released that limit from my subconscious, I was able to get out of my own way and accomplish a goal. If it wasn't for that one person asking me, why not, and forcing myself to ask the hard questions and doing the deep work, I might not have taken the leap in creating music. And because of this, I'm happy to be the one to ask you, why the fuck not? Why aren't you going for it? What's holding you back, really? What ideas have you been slacking on? Why aren't you leaping headfirst into your passions? Are you trying to fit into a box of what others expect of you? Are you sacrificing your peace to fit into this box? If any of these questions hit a nerve, I encourage you to work through it. Perhaps journal about it, talk through it with someone you trust so that you can get to the root of it and remove the blockage. So that you can challenge that voice in your head that tried to convince you that you're unworthy of your biggest dreams. Because I guarantee you are worthy. I mean, you're so freaking hot, for God's sakes. Of course you're worthy. In my opinion, limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome go hand in hand with one another. Imposter syndrome is when an individual doubts their skill level and talent and feels like a phony, like they somehow don't belong where they are. And I just want to bring this up because it's a common experience for classical musicians. This may manifest in issues like not believing compliments that are given to you after a performance. Compliments can even become a trigger for some people if the compliment goes directly against a limiting belief that they hold for themselves. And because classical musicians especially deal with things like perfectionism, a lot of us have come to believe that if our performance was not spot on, then it wasn't beautiful or moving to the audience. This brings us to the biggest lie that the Western classical music tradition has created and has fed to us, that music is meant to be perfect or as close to perfect as possible. It sounds so ridiculous when it's said out loud, but it's this unspoken elitist lie that contributes to musicians feeling like they'll never be good enough. It's all bullshit. We weren't put on this earth to be perfect and to fit into the mold of every other classical musician that came before us. Music isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be human. I'll say that again. Music isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be human. That is one of my favorite mantras to tell myself when I'm feeling like my voice sucks when I'm practicing. It prevents me from getting into a negative thought loop and brings me into a place of acceptance. It also helps prevent me from entertaining a victim mentality. To quote Musical You in their article on Imposter syndrome, when we identify with the condition, then we deny our power to change that condition or change our own response to that condition. The reason I bring this quote up is because it's so important to ask ourselves, in what way are we playing the victim in our lives, and be fully honest with ourselves. In order to shift that perspective to make meaningful changes, we have to take full responsibility for our lives. And this hard work isn't meant for everyone. Some people are bound to their dissatisfaction with life to the point where it becomes a personality trait. We want to avoid this at all costs because when we become complacent, we cut off our access to our power of creation. So, how can we strengthen our power in order to create the life of our dreams? I already discussed how to remove blockages and things that don't serve our higher good. Now I want to offer 2 means of calling in what our heart desires. The first one being visualization. As humans, our imaginations are incredible, so why not take it to our advantage? This concept of visualization is so simple, yet so powerful. All you have to do is imagine what you would like to achieve or what you would like to have, and then conjure up the feeling of what it would be like to have that thing, all while the image is still in your head. It's good to be as specific as possible. For example, when I was in high school, I would listen to opera and imagine myself being the one singing it. I would conjure up images of the gown I would be wearing and an audience that would applaud and cheer after I sang the last note. Most importantly, I would feel the excitement in the air, feel the gratitude of being on stage, and feel the satisfaction of an audience cheering for me. Little did I know, at the time, the amount of performance opportunities I would have that would emulate the same feeling I experienced when I was a kid, just imagining that it would happen. So, what you're doing in the process of visualizing your desire and matching the same feeling as if you already had it is shifting your vibration to the vibration of that desire and therefore attracting it to yourself. Visualization is a great way to make meditation more exciting as well. If meditation isn't a part of your routine, that is a-okay. It isn't necessary, but it does help a lot. Also, this is a side note, but please let me know if you'd like me to talk more about meditation. I could just talk about this shit forever, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so I'm keeping it pretty condensed for now. Lastly, I want to leave you with some affirmations. Affirmations are so powerful when it comes to shifting our reality because, like I mentioned before, repetition is the key to making powerful change and lasting change as well. I will be saying each mantra twice. If you feel called to say them with me, please do. But without a further ado, let's get zen up in this bitch. Cue the meditation music. I am exactly where I am meant to be. I am exactly where I am meant to be. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of success. I am grateful for life's challenges. I am grateful for life's challenges. I am a unique artist and my voice is meant to be heard. I am a unique artist and my voice is meant to be heard. I accept myself as I am. I accept myself as I am. I love myself as I am. I love myself as I am. I welcome a new chapter of growth in my life. I welcome a new chapter of growth in my life. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I would love to hear from you. What are some of your favorite mantras? Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Classical Music on Mushrooms. Be kind to everyone, spread light, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day.